listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Skylight Books podcast series. We're back for Better Than the Movie, the mini-series where a bunch of booksellers get together to discuss movie adaptations of books with a talented guest. Today, our talented guest is writer and bookseller Michael Chin. Woo!
So exciting.
Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
I am your co-host, Justin Remer.
I'm Tyler Austin.
Oh, I'm Allan.
Fuck you.
Classic start.
Cool guy, Allan? Sorry, should I have said something more?
Don't want to get doxxed, apparently?
Oh, Allan Traylor. Yeah, whoops.
Okay.
There we go.
Classic energy to start the episode, because I'm sure this is partly because this is Tyler's birthday pick, and for his birthday pick, he has picked
Moneyball.
Some baseball bullshit.
Happy birthday to me.
No, we can't afford that. We
Baseball
can't afford
to
this.
me.
We can't afford this song.
Yes, we can't.
Oh no!
It's in the public domain again. It's great.
Okay.
is it?
Never
Okay.
mind.
Yeah.
Or he's a jolly good baseball. Okay, no.
Not worth it.
This is already crazy. I mean, we're seated on couches. This is very laid back. This might be one of our more chaotic situations.
It's going to be loosey-goosey, baby.
Usually, to start off each episode, we talk a little bit about stuff we like in the genre. So in this case, it's kind of like nonfiction sports or just sports. So let's start off. Tyler, it is your pick. Why don't you start off with some sports stories that you would recommend to folks?
Absolutely. Well, first, I just want to thank everyone for indulging this pick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, look,
Let's move it along, pal.
you wanted, you brought me Nightbreed.
Yeah.
I bring you the 2000 Oakland A's,
You're
my
not
friend.
getting more than you're welcome.
Okay. All right. You did good. And I'm proud of everyone involved. Off the jump, I mean, obviously, like baseball stories that also I'm a massive fan of The Bad News Bears. It's a movie you watch when you're a kid, but I think, like, actually, like, you know, as you become closer to Walter Matthau's age, you can enjoy it from that perspective as well, which is also a delight. And it's like has a great 70s movie vibe. It's just like nice. All the kids are fun. Makes me cry. I love it.
Sure.
Just a team coming together, just like this movie.
Just like this.
I also was a huge fan, just like this, of the documentary "The History of the Seattle Mariners." I don't know if anyone else watched that.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Secret Base did it. John Boyce, who you might know from Twitter.com. Formerly X.
Formerly X. Wow. We're rewriting history now.
Yeah.
Everyone else does it. Why can't we?
I refuse to believe. But anyways, it's like a 6-part, multi-hour documentary about the entire history of the Seattle Mariners, but it's done from a really interesting, funny perspective.
Riveting.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
Honestly, it's fantastic.
I am absolutely going to watch
Good.
that.
It's the best thing I watched during the pandemic. It's fantastic. And like the actual culmination of that documentary is, again, much like Moneyball, how the Yankees are the villains. They build up the entire series to this moment where the Yankees are the villains, and they lose, and they fucking got me. I'm a Yankee fan. I'm a Yankee fan, and I was like, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
They shouldn't win. I'm glad that scrappy upstart team wins, and it's awesome. So anyways, a really great documentary. I cannot recommend it enough.
Sure.
Excellent. Let's go with you, Michael, because you're our guest, but you also are a baseball fan, it sounds like. So
And that's why we roped him in.
Okay, can I talk about two things? Can I talk about...
Of course.
The Rookie
But only
starring
two.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
The Rookie starring Dennis Quaid. Okay,
Yep.
sure.
It's a movie about an old guy, but he plays baseball. Whoa.
Oh,
Which I looked this up recently. I
Kinda
think
crazy.
I think he's like younger than all of us.
No way. No, he's like got to be in his 40s, right?
I think he's supposed to be
It's been a
like
long time since I've seen this
34 in
movie.
that movie or
well, like
something.
the cutoff in baseball is like what, like mid-30s?
Yeah,
you
it's
can,
like
you can play till 40 maybe.
not anymore.
Yeah, probably. Well,
There's a couple of guys now who are.
some people can do it, but you end up like Albert Pujols and you look like you run like you hate
like
it.
you're hurt. Like you're actively hurting every moment you're running.
Like, this is the
Probably
worst thing
is.
that's ever happened to me.
I can't believe they're making me run again.
I hate this sport.
How many millions of dollars am I getting paid for this?
Age 35.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm old.
Oh
man.
my god.
Yeah, and they're like, this ancient
This is my
man
pick. I should know this.
can make it back. I only know it because it just recently came up.
Yeah.
It's like, in the movie, they make like great pains to talk about how old he is.
He's so old. He's
Like-
so old.
like older
Well, that
older
makes
than
me
God.
feel great.
yeah,
cool.
he is dirt.
How old is Dennis Quaid? We don't have to go into this, but like
We can look it up.
Yes.
The internet's
late
right here.
precious time
60s.
talking about the rookie.
I mean, okay. Well, we'll see. He must be at least in his 40s when they make the movie.
It's gotta be right.
Wait, when did it
2000
come out?
Off-brand Harrison
2002.
Ford.
Oh yeah,
He's
he's
probably
like
in it.
48 when it comes out,
Okay,
or
yeah.
46. So he's much older than the person he's playing, but for added effect,
Yeah.
it's. I mean, those Disney sports movies are a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
I
Like
mean,
that kind of like.
it affected my entire life. That movie.
Please expound on that.
I thought maybe I'll be an old guy.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't a young
shoot.
guy who was gonna play baseball. When I was younger, I was not an athlete. I'm still not.
But you thought when you're older,
Yeah, well,
you'll
I'm
have more
I'm-
of a chance.
I'm 30. Gonna be 34 this year. So I think maybe in the next 1 year,
Sure.
I'll get good enough to pitch in Major League Baseball.
All right.
and
Your prime, the
I'll
rookie age.
in.
It's coming to you.
Yeah, you're like playing all the time and stuff like that. You're practicing.
Well,
you're getting ready for
yeah,
it.
not. I did start. I
Okay.
did take 2 runs in the past 2 weeks.
Oh,
so
Ooh,
I'm
okay.
really,
cool. You're halfway there.
yeah.
Have you have you been
exactly.
throwing baseballs past like road monitor sign, like mile per hour signs, like he does in the movie?
Speedometers.
Speedometers, sure.
What did you say?
Yeah, what did you call it?
Roadside
Roadside
mile per hour markers.
Yeah, all the time.
That's-
You know,
all the time.
the speed number
And
thing.
let me
What
be
I do,
clear.
yeah, what I do is I pull over when I see a
Oh,
cop
not
on
even
the freeway.
speedometer. I
Yeah,
realized
and I
it's
just chuck
radar.
baseballs.
radar.
Yeah, I just chuck baseballs at cops.
At cops.
And he goes, "You can go pro."
And the cops are like, I like this actually.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm so good with this happening.
Yeah.
My actual pick is the novel Art of Feeling by Chad Harbach. Great novels, campus novel. This
The art of feeling?
Art of Fielding.
Fielding.
Oh,
It's
fielding.
named after a fictional book written by like a fictional legendary shortstop in the like movie or the book universe. It's a very, very good book.
Oh, which is probably a take on the Ted Williams book, right? Like The Science of Hitting.
I think so. Yeah,
That one.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I kind of wish that this existed because the art of fielding from like a shortstop's perspective is like kind of cool.
That is actually really fascinating, yeah.
Um,
And we've lost Justin and Alan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And
What time is it?
their eyes are glazed over.
They're gone. But anyways, yeah, that is
Yeah.
actually
What about you, Alan? What are you thinking?
I was trying to think of sports movies, and I realized I've kind of seen a lot, even though I don't love sports movies. But specifically baseball ones, I thought of 3 that really, really came to mind that I still love. One is Rookie of the Year,
Hell yeah.
which is a classic. Beautiful.
100%.
The other one is Angels
let's-
in the Outfield.
Hold on, let's get into Rookie of the Year a little bit, Alan.
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Well, as you know, a kid who wants to be in the major leagues.
Yes.
He breaks his arm, and magically it swings harder because that's how the body
how-
heals.
yeah.
It
that's how-
heals
that's
in
how
a way
breaking
that
arm
makes
works.
him throw like 98 miles an
Similar
hour.
in vein to Air Bud, there's no rule. There's no
true.
rule that says a kid can't play.
It's true.
Wait, this happened recently. Did you guys hear about this?
Wait, what?
No.
This kid oh, this is a total tangent. This kid was it was like the Little League World Series or something, and this kid got like beamed in the arm and like his arm
are
was like
making this
legit
up.
broken. No, it's like it was like broken, and he's like trying to swing at like, and he's like, I can't, it hurts. And he's like looking at his coach like, what do I do? The coach isn't going to take him out. And so he's just like starts swinging with only one hand, with only one arm. And he gets like, I think he got a hit or something.
Yeah.
And it was like a huge hit.
I
thought you were going to say he got signed up to the majors.
Oh yeah. This kid, 10 years old,
Surely I would've
youngest
heard of
pitcher
this.
on that in the major
Now
league.
his one-handed hitting style is taking the major leagues by storm.
Well, we're one step closer to Rookie of the Year.
Henry
becoming a
Rowan
real
Gardner
thing.
being a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie. He was a pitcher
it's
for
a
the
really fun
Cubs.
movie. Yeah.
The Yankees are also the bad guys, at the
As they
end.
often are.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of our deal. Anyways, good movie. Daniel Stern's
Great
in it,
movie.
and he directed it,
And he is chewing up the scenery in that movie.
and no one else is.
I know.
He's the only
'Cause
one.
He can't rein in himself.
Yes,
He can rein in all the other
Everyone
actors.
else takes this all very seriously, and Daniel Stern is like, "I'm going nuts."
And I kind of remember him like just mouth full of chew like the entire
Yes.
movie.
Oh, man.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But Angels in the Outfield is also another one, a great Christopher Lloyd movie,
Christopher
which I
Lloyd?
had forgotten.
Tony Danza.
Where God listens to one boy. I mean, he breaks his rule of not listening to anybody. He listens to
Instead
a
of
young
being
Joseph
a cold,
Gordon-Levitt
impartial God,
and decides to send I think 3 or 4 angels
Yeah.
to help this fucking team win.
yeah.
And the other one is a movie I used to, for some reason, love as a kid, which is Major League 2,
Okay.
which is the
Major League
more...
But not number one. You don't like Major League.
Number 1 is kind of a serious movie-ish.
Kind of. I mean,
But
yeah.
2 is like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Sure. Yeah.
Pretty great, though.
I mean, they.
Also full of character actors.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, you got Behringer and all those guys. Yeah, Charlie Sheen,
Mm-hmm,
Wesley
It's almost-
Snipes.
No, Wesley Snipes in the first one.
He's only in the first one. That's
He's
right.
replaced by, doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but I
It's
can't
almost
remember.
like Major League is directed by the David S. Ward who won an Oscar for writing The Sting.
Yeah.
And Major League 2 is directed by the David S. Ward who's going to make Down Periscope.
That's right.
Yeah.
There's a definitive line between the two.
A man becoming another man, yes.
Which I do remember just listening to MLB radio, and they did a whole thing on the Major League series, and David S. Ward was like, "I wrote Major League 3, but they won't let me make it." It would be
Probably
so
because
good.
everyone saw Major League 2.
Yeah, he's just like,
With
here's
the exception of me, everyone I'm pretty
he,
sure universally
pitches
hates it.
the entire movie, and he's like, so Wild Thing has a son with a groupie on the road, and now he has to coach young Wild Thing, and he's got the
I'm
big
on board.
and it's incredible
Yeah.
stuff.
But wait, didn't they do a 3 without him, though, or something?
I think they
Isn't
did.
that what Back to
Did
the
they-
Minors is?
I believe so, yeah.
So I guess
Oh.
it's 4. He's pitching
Yeah.
4. Apologies,
Yeah,
I
right.
forgot there was Back to the
Cinematic
Minors.
universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, J-Man.
J-Man.
Oh, wait, did you have one more or no?
No, those are my 3.
Oh, okay. I lost count.
I mean, if it's not baseball, Mighty Ducks 2, obviously. One of the greatest.
You only like
movies.
sports sequels?
Kind of.
All right.
But that's kind of me, though, right?
Because I guess so. Well, do you feel like is at that point they've already established the team, and then now they can
They
just-
establish a team, and then, they bring in old Keenan Thompson, this knuckle puck. Doesn't he come in the second one?
I don't know if I ever saw the second one.
You haven't
Yeah,
seen Mighty
I
Ducks
don't
2?
know if I've seen the second one either.
Oh, god damn.
I agree. I think I've only seen the first
Oh,
one.
come on,
Don't even get me started on D3. I have definitely not seen
Oh,
that.
we gotta see Mighty Ducks 2.
I was too busy watching The Rookie over
Yeah.
and over.
over and over again.
Fair
It's
enough.
like wait until I'm 35.
This
The
is
only
my
other
fucking
thing
year.
about Angels in the Outfield that I think is insane is that
The only thing you think is this thing?
well, many things.
Okay.
One of the things is that movie ends and they're like, "We're taking Tony Danza to heaven." Put the wings on him. We're picking him up.
I guess that is strange. Yeah,
He's got to die. He's going to be one of us soon. It's like, oh no, Tony.
yeah. I'm kind of curious what revisiting that movie would be like. It's got to be just weird messages left and right.
Well, and if I remember correctly, also the beginning of that movie is just the dad being like, "Adios, pal."
No, the dad literally is like, because I rewatched the trailer. He's like, Dad, please stay. What's gonna make it take? What's it gonna take for you to stay? And he's like, I don't know if the Angels win the pennant. And he gets on his Harley and takes off. And so then he prays to God for that to happen.
I just want my shitty dad to come back so bad.
And then God is, I guess, like, okay, enough's enough. I'll help this kid.
Yeah, all those movies in back in the day are all just like, this kid's got a real bad dad.
Bad dad.
I guess he gets a genie.
I guess I gotta make it so his dad can't lie.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Also the 90s,
Yeah.
Good stuff going on there.
So I had a couple of just sort of all over the place thoughts. One of them is because we're a book podcast. Is a book I haven't finished, but I've enjoyed what I've read. and that is A Fan's Notes by Frederick Exley, which is like a famous piece of autofiction about him and his love of football, and also drinking, and also insane asylums. I'm only like 100 pages in, and it's
the story
only
of America in a lot of ways.
I'm only like 100 pages in, and it's only been kind of racist once, so
It's pretty good odds.
It's honestly a good ratio.
yeah. Otherwise, movies. One of the odd things about me is I do actually like certain sports documentaries. Like I love Bruce Brown's surfing movies, like The Endless Summer. And in the same vein, I really like the Olympics box set that Criterion put out. I just love to watch a picture about people Olympicing it up.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's described by most people. Yeah,
Olympicing.
I didn't realize you wrote the essays for those.
Yeah.
That was the whole essay.
When you open the box set, that's the first thing you see. You're like, oh.
that was when Criterion was just starting off. We didn't know any better yet.
They're just like, we don't know what tone we want to go with these essays, maybe. But also something that made me think of Moneyball a little bit, and I actually haven't watched this documentary in a while, but the John McEnroe tennis documentary, In the Realm of Perfection.
Oh yeah,
is kind of fascinating because it's basically about this Frenchman who is so obsessed with John McEnroe, he just keeps shooting 16 millimeter footage of him to like pinpoint like the actions of all like the nuances of every part of his movement. And like that kind of feels like Moneyball a bit to me, to being like let's take this sort of almost poetic, athletic thing in front of us and like break down every little nuance of what's happening here.
Boil it down to cold, hard numbers.
But it's also like a really well made film too. So I definitely recommend. Of the weird words that just came out of my mouth, I definitely recommend John McEnroe, In the Realm of Perfection the most.
This actually, you've just reminded me as well, because book-wise, I've always have loved Wait Till Next Year, which is it was sort of like William Goldman, who wrote novels, but also as a screenwriter, did like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, is like a massive sports fan, and so he and Mike Lupica, who's like a longtime New York like sports columnist, basically wrote this book together where they followed all 4 major New York sports for one season. And it's a year after the Mets win the World Series in '86, so it's '87. And basically, it's like Mike Lupica writing the really interesting, like, things you would never get access to now, sports stuff, like being in the locker room and, like, Keith Hernandez having a pitcher of beer waiting for him after every game, and, like, Lenny Dykstra being an absolute psycho, who's also in Moneyball. So you get that kind of inside reporting, and then William Goldman will write this, like, beautiful, like, essay about, like, remembering seeing Bronco Nagurski play football when he was like 10, and it's like absolutely fantastic. So it's these really two
Bronco Nagurski.
Yeah, baby, that's that. Wow. They used to name people correctly in this country, and we lost
I guess they gave a shit back then.
Yeah,
sure.
And it's a fantastic book, but it also, I believe, like obviously that's a phrase, wait till next year. But Hanif Abdurraqib is also about to come out with his book. There's Always This Year, which I think is published tomorrow. Yeah. And so obviously buy that through the Skylight Books website, please.
Yeah. Nice.
Also, well, actually, Mike Lupica's kids baseball. Doesn't he write like kids books?
Mike Lupica also writes kids books. Yeah. Heat is a really good one that I think I read when I was a kid. That's a lot of fun. And
I can't believe I knew that.
God bless you. That's impressive.
I'm a little impressed. Yeah.
You probably received them when I ordered them in for myself to
I think
revisit
that is
them. Actually,
is
what happened. If I had to guess specifically, yeah.
I was also going to quickly say, actually, through the temporal pincer movement that is the recording and then release of this podcast, that book will have been out for a couple days.
Oh, yes, that's right. That is correct. Right. Today is March 25th. Tomorrow's March 26th. The podcast comes out on the 28th.
Correct.
Temporal pincer movement.
Yes. Okay, great. So that's clearly going to be the last thing I say all episode. Tyler, I want you, since it is your episode, and also because you're sort of the synopsis guy, I want you to take the reins and sort of guide us through. I mean, Moneyball, the book doesn't have so much of a plot, but sort of give us a flavor of it, and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
Probably. Michael will probably talk more. But.
Yeah, well,
I got things to say.
I'm excited to
I'm
hear your
planning
thoughts.
on being completely silent from here on out, and just letting Tyler do it.
And I'll be the only one trying to stop him.
We're going all the way
You're just
through,
here to
baby.
witness. You're just like, I was asked to witness this.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So again, right. So it's a Michael Lewis book, so it's nonfiction, and basically, he embeds himself with the Oakland Athletics and Billy Beane, the general manager, for most of the 2002 season, which similarly is like 2001. They have this great season where the Yankees fucking rock them in the playoffs.
That's a version of events.
We're taking they actually take the Yankees to the fifth
your turn,
game.
Michael.
Okay.
But Derek Jeter executes one of his most famous plays in his career, where the flip play, and they nail Jason Giambi at home. Awesome play.
What the
Anyways,
hell's the foot play?
I have a version of it in my mind, but I'm sure it's YouTube, Alan. Just look it up afterwards.
All right.
It's awesome.
Just
You're gonna
wanted
love it.
context.
Actually,
I tried to learn more, and you shut me down.
All right. Oh,
No, it's fine.
It also doesn't help that you think you misheard. Tyler said flip play.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and you
See,
said you
yeah.
heard foot play.
Oh my God.
Which is like
That's why I was like, what is that?
Which is
That's-
Derek Jeter like fly kicking Jason Giambi in the head.
Bang. Right.
That's why I was so confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Like
To be
Ryu
clear,
from Street
Okay.
Fighter.
All right.
you know what? Since you want to learn, look, there was a ball was coming in from right field. It's sort of a bad throw. It's like in between the catcher and the pitcher. No one's there to grab it. All of a sudden, like a golden god, Derek Jeter comes flying in from shortstop. 20
Perhaps
feet away from
lifted
where
up by angels.
perhaps Christopher Lloyd gave him a little boost.
Yeah.
He he fields it like cleanly with his glove and then just like scoop flips it backward, like behind his back to the catcher, who then nails Jason Giambi, who on any other play would have scored easily.
Wow.
And it's incredible.
All right.
So anyway, after that season, the Oakland A's lose Jason Giambi to the Yankees. They lose Johnny Damon, who's their center fielder, at another premium position, to the Red Sox, and then Jason Irzinghausen, who's their closer, goes somewhere else. And because their owners are cheap bastards, and we don't like them. We'll save that for later, Michael. Anyways, they have a small payroll.
Wait, the owner of a baseball team's not a good person?
Yeah, look, they're a billionaire.
Sure,
We don't like them. They're bad.
Yeah.
And now they have a new, worse owner. It's kind of incredible, actually.
It got so much worse.
It's like they had a cheap owner, and then they got cheaper and worse.
So much worse.
It's insane. But we'll talk about that later. Anyways, the whole thing is like they're a small market team, quote unquote, so they can only spend $40 million. They can't spend money.
Yeah, it's
so
peanuts.
So they got to figure out a new way to spend money to compete with teams who have like triple their payroll, like the Yankees, because they're willing to spend to put product on the field. Anyways. They have to replace Jason Giambi, these players, and they sort of embrace this new philosophy that had been bubbling up for a few years. And there had been this guy, Bill James, who kind of, through his own research, much in the way like this guy who was looking at McEnroe all the time, was like basically figuring out what stats actually mean something, right? So there's this game, it's like there's a quote at the beginning of the movie about the Mickey Mantle quote about like you don't know so much about this game you've played your whole life, and it's like he completely changes the way that people look at the game through these like self-published books, because he's like a security guard at like a pork and bean factory or something, which is kind of wild.
They throw in the movie, they're like, "Can you believe this fucking asshole is just a security guard?" It's like, come on, man, you can still be a genius.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
What the fuck?
Have you ever heard of Goodwill Hunting?
Exactly.
Basically for baseball.
I did love the little detail though in the book where Bill James's wife is like, he didn't really like express how much he was into baseball when we started dating, and if he had, we probably wouldn't be together.
You know what? I know that feeling. Or someone who I'm engaged to knows that feeling. Certainly left a lot of that stuff off the table.
Well, you're not like publishing manifestos.
That's true.
so
That's true.
you're
That's
fine.
true. No, I'm only recording podcasts about it. That's fine.
Everyone does
Only
that.
forcing your friends to record a podcast about sports.
In my home, making her go into our bedroom and remain quiet the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, sort of not coming off great.
Yeah, no, what are you gonna do? But so Bill James, it gets into that kind of stuff, the revolution of like the way that stats are analyzed and players are analyzed, and then also gets into the story of Billy Beane, who is like considered this. He was like a 5-tool prospect where he's just like this natural athlete. He's fast, he can hit, he can run, he can hit with power. He does all the things that you need a player to do.
And in multiple sports.
He's like he's truly like an insane athlete. It's wild. Yeah, he can play football. He's smart. He gets a scholarship to Stanford. Like he's clearly a bright guy, and he's drafted at 18 and convinced to like sign an agreement, instead of going to college. Because in baseball, you can be drafted right out of high school and you go spend time in the minors, or you can be drafted out of college. And basically, he just doesn't have the mental thing you need to like become a great player. Like he has all the natural ability, but he doesn't have like the strength, the mental toughness, basically, of having failed, and then like regaining the belief in yourself that you can like just beat anybody, which like other guys have, like Lenny Dykstra, who's his roommate and who's like taken in the 13th round and is like has none of the physical tools, but is just a guy who's like, yeah, I'm gonna go hit that ball. Which is awesome. I love that story so much. Yeah. But anyway,
whereas it sounds like a lot of like chairs and baseball bats have been wrecked at the hands of Billy Beane.
Oh yeah,
the story where he bent the aluminum bat to like 90 degrees because he hit it so hard, and then he went back up to try to hit again with it. He was still so mad at himself he struck out. It's awesome. So he's amazing. It's the best stuff. It's
when you're great at everything, it's hard to fail, I guess.
I wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know either. I don't think anyone would know.
Yeah. So he eventually kind of like washes out of the majors and becomes a scout, gets into the GM role of the A's, and has to kind of, again, like the way the movie posits it is sort of he's like righting the wrong of his past of like being scouted this particular way and how that's actually the wrong way to do it. So he wants to kind of reinvent things to find the way to do it, and also it becomes like a cost-effective maneuver. And so over the 2000 season, everyone expects the A's to be worse. And they find these guys who actually end up sort of filling the holes that they need to be filled statistically, even though they're undervalued players. Scott Hatteberg has like nerve damage. He can't play his natural position of catcher anymore, but he gets on base, and so they make him a first baseman. Or Jeremy Giambi ends up, kind of filling in some of the gaps. Or they find this undervalued pitcher who nobody likes because he has a crazy pitching motion where he almost touches the ground, but he gets guys out.
Because it probably freaks them out, dude.
It's my favorite part of the book.
It's so good. That whole story is incredible. Yeah. Him throwing off the mound at his house, and like the guy,
with his dad who couldn't lift his arm. Ugh,
and like he learns to throw that way. Yeah, it's and where
I want that in a movie.
It's great. And so there's a bunch of different chapters of like the guys, the pieces they pick up, and like their individual stories and how they make it and how they. So eventually, then the Oakland A's have a 20-game winning streak because they're able to like capture lightning in a bottle. It works, but then they end up losing in the first round to the Twins, the Minnesota Twins. But it's like, he broke the barrier of like this way of thinking being accepted in baseball, and then it eventually kind of takes over the world. But so that's your book.
One thing that about the book I'll say is like, so as it had been pitched to me for years by like a baseball loving friend, is that it's really just like a book about stats, and like there's just no story here. And it's interesting because I can understand in terms of that they made it into a movie, that story is not here.
Yes.
But there's a lot of stories here. And Michael Lewis, who he also did The Big Short.
Yeah. Big Short. And
so obviously he has certain like economics things that he's interested in. Like there's definitely like a Freakonomics vibe to a lot of this stuff. Like that was kind of like big at the moment or whatever.
100%, yeah.
But like each chapter is sort of like a vignette within this world. So I feel like in that way, for someone who's not a sports fan and who definitely doesn't give a shit about stats, I actually thought that the book had a lot of interesting like one-off character portraits of all these people.
Yeah.
So
it's
certainly that first half. And then it leans a little more heavily into stats.
Well, yeah, there's
towards the end.
There's basically
really
like a long
towards the end.
There's basically a long fantasy baseball scene that I guess is actually how they draft people in the whatever. But like,
sure, I mean it's.
But like, that's why I don't go to a fantasy baseball draft because I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you're invited to mine this year if you want to come.
and again, no. Have to say no.
It's certainly they had to kind of pick and choose and pull the story out. There's also a great chapter where they operate their draft for their like actual baseball draft, not a fantasy draft.
Yeah. I know, but to me it felt like the same thing.
Okay,
I know it's for real.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Sure,
yeah. So that whole scene, yeah, I mean that I feel like that's certainly a scene that like never doesn't end up in the movie because it wouldn't make sense to add it to the story of the 2002 team because
it doesn't matter to them.
It doesn't matter to them. But they took like the flavor of that and did like the trade deadline and like that kind of stuff in the movie that really works well. But yeah, so they did a good job of capturing a lot of the stuff that's in the book and sort of building a story from that. But you're right. I mean, it's mostly vignettes and like long digressions about a guy who figured out how like the 3 true outcomes are just home runs, walks, and strikeouts, which now has you could argue ruined baseball.
I mean, we don't have to get into how it ruined baseball, but we can go a long time about how Moneyball. I mean, but that is something that I keep thinking about, which has nothing to do with the movie of Moneyball and its relation to the book, but has like everything to do with like how Moneyball relates to our present moment, which is that Moneyball like snowballed into this like huge unbeatable monster that is now like kind of ruining baseball.
Yeah, it's the only way people know how to like operate baseball is through like these analytical. I mean, and we're going to sound like very old people who don't want to embrace analytics, but like that, like it's
the scouts.
It's a lot of the scouts.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like I think honestly something that I've thought a lot about is like, okay, so baseball was broken because they were talking about how guys fit into jeans and how guys got an ugly girlfriend and a soft body or whatever the hell, all this like dumb bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we're gonna fix baseball by making it just about the stats. And they made it just about the stats, and guess what? Baseball's still broken.
Yeah.
So like the thing is like maybe it's just that like players are always being exploited. No matter what.
Well, I think that is very much clear.
That is because even in the movie, like in the moments where he's like, "We're not going to steal, we're not going to bunt, we're giving away outs or whatever." I'm like, "Oh, you mean like the exciting stuff about baseball?"
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, it's like letting a naturally talented person do the things that they're best at. Yeah. Which is like honestly,
like that one guy. That's what I do, though.
Yeah, it's like this is my whole. People pay a lot of money to watch me steal a base.
Yeah,
they just like won't let him do it. It's like Ray Durham's like stats. He had like 22 when he got to the A's, and they had like 30. The whole team had 30 by the end of the season.
It's really crazy. Like the philosophy of it, because it's like it boils down to like risk reward equations of like what you should do, because the most important thing you can do is, as the movie will tell you many times, get on base.
Right.
And then like once you're on base, you're not trying to do anything except get home, and like anything you do that like is less likely to get you home than I guess someone behind you getting on base, it's not worth doing, like giving up a bunt or stealing or whatever. So again, all these like interesting, exciting plays that used to happen in baseball are just like gone. They don't happen anymore because it's not advantageous.
To the point where like Major League Baseball is like actively changing the rules every year to try and make it more exciting.
They made the bases bigger by like half an inch or something, and they're like, people might steal more now. It's a little bigger. The bases are...
It's technically closer.
Yeah, exactly.
They just start letting people bunt with like those giant kid bats, like the ones that are like a foot across.
I mean, just straight up make basketball. Let's just do that.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah,
I'm on board for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Could be time.
God, I should have mentioned basketball. Wow,
that's a good. Yeah,
kind of surprised I did.
Speaking of like the differences between the book and the movie, I just thought it was so interesting, the changes, like not just like the narrative changes of like turning this book that is essentially vignettes that prove the point of the author, into like this like narrative about Billy Lean, which is it's a great narrative. Love Moneyball, love the book, love the movie, but like some of the changes are just like kind of hilarious, like the fact that Paul De Podesta's character is a different guy. Is like Jonah Hill plays a character named Peter Brand, who is not Paul De Podesta, because essentially Paul De Podesta was like, I don't want to come within a mile of that thing. That movie.
He apparently didn't really like the fame that it got him when the book came out.
Yeah,
and was just like, I don't want to do that shit again. Enough. I'm in the front office for a reason.
He's like, I don't want to be thought of as like computer guy.
Yeah,
like, with no soul or whatever.
And
Is that why Jonah Hill plays in that way?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like someone lit fireworks in front of him before every take. he looks terrified to be in every scene he's in.
In reality,
it does not paint him in a very
Paul Di Podesta was like a college quarterback or something. Like he was himself
like
a jock, kind of, but it just happened to go to Harvard, Yale in the movie.
It is actually like so funny.
Yeah, it's
another really funny change is Art Howe as played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Art Howe famously so pissed all the time because of this. Like, I don't know if you guys looked this up.
Yes.
Art Howe has done so many interviews where he's slammed Moneyball, the movie. He doesn't like the book either, but when the movie came out, he was like, it was straight up disrespectful. I was disgusted. It's to Art Howe's
And how
point.
close it was to him? Is that why he's so freaked out?
I've never been so accurately portrayed.
One of the greatest actors who ever lived. God damn it. No, but one thing that is to Art Howe's credit, they got just straight up wrong in the movie. I mean, probably on purpose, I guess. Is that they got his contract wrong to make it more interesting, which I guess you're making a movie, it's a fictionalized version of events, whatever, but at the same time, that's a pretty big difference because it's his whole character motivation.
Right.
Is that his contract is up in 1 year.
Yeah.
And he was like, that's not even true.
Yeah. It's probably just a way to fine-tune and compact events.
Give him a little more something to be going on. But yes, I know that was really funny because I looked it up afterwards. And then they do let him go after the season.
Yeah, they do.
They're because he and Billy Bean didn't get along very much. So I am also but how inaccurate was it, Art Howe?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't a crank. I actually came around to it.
Yeah.
It's and that's why you were managing the Mets next year?
Yeah,
Why was
exactly.
that? What happened there?
Right, yeah.
If you liked it so much, they probably would
sold all
have
the players you used.
kept you. Yeah.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But yes, I did see a lot of that except for he was like, fucking they got me wrong. And it's
Oh, also. Go ahead.
But so real quick, just because we've been talking about it, we should say, the book was Michael Lewis. The movie was directed by Bennett Miller after Steven Soderbergh was fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Written, the credit is to Steven Zalian, who I think might have written for Soderbergh, and Aaron Sorkin, who basically wrote the Bennett Miller version. And it's very interesting because the dialogue is Aaron Sorkin dialogue, but it's one of those things he really needs other directors because it doesn't seem so that when someone else is directing his words.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It still has a flavor, but it's not just okay, these aren't people.
These quick
Well,
machines.
they're also not talking nonstop as they often do in Sorkin's.
Yeah, there's a little bit more. There's a rhythm to it that's palatable.
I mean, the opening of the movie was really, really good.
Yeah,
just silhouettes and
I love. Yeah, it's very artsy in ways, which
I was
are really,
surprised.
really cool. I liked a lot.
For some reason, I thought it was going to be oh, we got to change baseball. We got to shake things up kind of movie, which is why I didn't watch it. But it's just an actual great drama.
Yeah,
completely.
And I was not really expecting.
It reminded me a lot of a Michael Ritchie movie.
Oh,
I thought I thought a lot that, especially the way that Brad Pitt played him. I thought of Billy Bean in this is very similar to Robert Redford's character in The Candidate. It just gave me a similar vibe.
Yeah, he's a Redford. He's a Redford.
Michael Ritchie, director of The Bad News Bears.
Oh, there you go.
And Downhill Racer, which rocks with Redford as well. So yeah, he's which is a great sports. That's a skiing movie that's really good. Yeah. It has that kind of natural kind of tone to it, kind of look to it. Yeah.
A little wry, but mostly actually kind of serious. But also you're just sort of oh, I'm just paying attention to dudes sitting around a table complaining about some dude's fat ass or something. I know that.
I quite literally.
His girlfriend's a 6 at best. It's dude, what the fuck?
What are you doing?
Between that,
so he's got no confidence, right? And they're of course, his girlfriend's a 6.
Of course, yeah.
And they could not make those guys look older.
I know.
I was
got
his fucking hearing aids. Who's Fabio?
Yeah. It's they had a pool of actors and they're we got to go older.
We need that older.
Wrinklier. Yeah.
A couple more decades.
I think I described this movie just outside the store as we were coming over here to a friend I bumped into as a sports movie and a guys talking in rooms movie, and that's my favorite type of movie.
Yeah.
So you put them together, it's even better. So yeah. It's definitely well, the Soderbergh version's fascinating, where we're supposed to include like a bunch of like documentary interviews, like footage, like interview footage with like the people who were there.
Oh, like Interstellar style.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
And at the end, they're on a TV in the middle of a field on Mars.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was supposed to be more hybrid-y and like a little bit more like trying to tackle it in a vein maybe even closer to the book than. And then them just being like, no, make it a story. What are you talking about?
Literally, absolutely not. And then he was fired summarily. But Pitt is incredible in this movie.
Just incredible.
He,
Absolutely.
everything about every little characterization thing. I mean, now, here's the question. Do we think he took this movie, he produced it, right? He's a producer on it, because the character description in the book is that he's constantly eating junk food, and Brad Pitt loves to eat on screen.
Dude, watch
100%.
watching Brad Pitt house a Twinkie is one of the greatest on-screen thrills of our time.
It was so good.
Yeah.
2 bites.
And just constantly shoving fistfuls of sunflower seeds into his face.
Yeah.
So during the trade deadline scene, when he's like impatiently waiting for someone to call him back, and he just puts a bunch of popcorn in his mouth and then spits it out when the phone rings.
It's so good.
Incredible.
It goes everywhere.
And then just gets right back on the phone.
God, to me, Jonah Hill playing against them across the room from Brad Pitt spitting popcorn everywhere.
Yeah. And then being like, how come I can't be funny? What the fuck?
What's going on here?
Shut up, we'll give you an Oscar nomination.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Truly, like, I feel like it does a great job of underlying how working in a male-dominated field or like workplace must be disgusting. It's just guys spitting popcorn and chewing tobacco and like having gross coffee all day, and you're like, this place must smell awful.
Who says that's not what it's like at Skylight?
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey,
you don't work in the back room with me and some of the other guys.
Are you and Mick are spitting popcorn all day?
That's all we're doing.
Just got your little cup of
housing
chew.
a Twinkie and then just spinning it everywhere when the phone rings.
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. Well, I was wondering if, Michael, you'd want to go back a little bit too, like talk about like obviously the impact of Moneyball as a book is massive. Like I think like now Michael Lewis is an author who can do whatever he wants because this book is massive.
Yeah, and The Big Short.
And The Big Short. I mean, in Liar's Poker was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
And the Sandra Bullock one, right?
Right, he did The Blind Side, which we can quickly touch on the fact that Michael Lewis, maybe not a great guy. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Shocked to my core.
Against
I know, right?
Michael Orr, and is like on the side of the family who might have had him in like a weird Britney Spears style conservatorship, and is like, I don't know what happened to Michael. He was such a nice kid.
Yeah.
That white family took such good care of him. Anyways, what are you gonna do? Still buy the book though. Support us and him. But
it's an old book. There's a public library. Go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, so his impact in general. But also, I heard like an interesting thing with him where like his whole deal in Finding Stories is like he loves like an underdog story that like cashes out, which is like fits perfectly into that, and that's the whole thing. Like The Big Short, like they're underdogs against the financial system.
It was just funny because I feel like when I was watching Moneyball, I was like, "Oh, they're kind of trying to make this The Big Short."
Yeah,
it's like a handsome guy, nerdy guy team up to change the world situation.
I mean,
it's like
nobody believes in them; they're against the system.
I do just real quick love the scene where Brad Pitt is looking for Jonah Hill. Like in the office, because it's like a fucking shark. It's like swimming through. Yeah. And then he locks eyes and he's just like, shit.
Well, is he looking at me?
Right.
An incredible moment of him running through
cubicles. He's like, who the fuck are you?
Who are you? Yeah, that is some real Sorkin-y shit where he's just like, who are you? I'm Peter Brandt. I don't care who you are.
I don't care what your name is.
What do you do?
What do you... He's listening to you. Why does he listen to you?
Which,
man.
That is a weird change, too, where it's like,
I know,
I just bought you. And it's like, I don't think you train front office people.
That's not how that, not really how that works.
Usually you
but
hire
that is kind of how it worked for, at the end of the book, of like the Red Sox kind of like buying,
getting Bill James and trying to come grab him. Yeah, exactly,
but, I mean, it's super weird way to put that. Super weird scene. with Billy just like being like, "Hey, you're mine now.
Yeah.
I own you.
Hey, kid, you're mine."
I noticed you
bags.
in that meeting, and now you're mine.
Yeah, he's like at his dinner table with a glass of whiskey.
It's a great.
It's like mixing whiskey and chew,
Yeah.
just telling a man that he belongs to me.
Pack your bags. But now, yeah. So Moneyball again has changed everything, right? I think like that is again that's sort of the underlying, and it's massive right away. Like even fucking DePodesta was like kind of mad how big the book was because like now all my scouting secrets are out.
I mean, I know that. I mean, that's the thing is that like we're like at a stage now where, we were at a stage like very soon after. You know, the Red Sox won the World Series using these tactics, where it's like Moneyball spread, and it was always going to. Like it was never gonna not get out. That like the Oakland A's, you know, won 102 and then 103 games per year, and the only reason they were able to keep doing that for even like the short term is because of this like genius math stuff.
Right. They saw the Matrix, man.
I mean kind of.
Yeah,
You know.
They saw the code.
Yeah, my
That's
favorite
it.
part of Moneyball is when the giant baby head talks to Neo.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And then sings, "You're a loser, Dad. You're a loser, Dad.
Oh my God! Can
You're
we
a
talk
loser,
about
Dad."
this song?
Yeah,
Yeah, she wrote it
Academy
as an
Award
11-year-old.
winning Best Original Song.
beautiful
Yep.
song.
No.
Beautiful song.
That was like that. I mean, honestly, we're going to talk about like changes between the book and the movie. Like literally in the scene in the book when he's driving back to the stadium. When they're gonna win the 20th game, but it's like up in the air. He like calls his daughter, and his daughter's watching American Idol, which is like the funniest thing in the book.
Yeah, it's really good.
And they change it to the daughter going, "No, you have to go, Dad. Ugh,
Yeah.
you're not a jinx, Dad."
Yeah.
And then she like sings this song, which like no disrespect to the person who wrote the song.
Oh, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a real song.
It is a real song that came out like 6 years after the events of the movie.
Yeah, which is also a weird thing.
Kind
that,
of
like,
hilarious.
This song came out after the movie or after the events of the movie. What's the deal with the song? I don't get it.
It's just a way to like have him be a good dad. I think that's its sole reason.
But like, is he you know?
He's not a bad dad.
Is he?
He buys her a guitar.
In the
He
movie,
says she has a girl. Well, yeah, I don't know about in real life.
Yeah, we can't make judgment.
I think
There's no way
I mean-
to know that. Yeah.
Because in the book, it was like there's like 2 sentences ever about his family.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, oh, he's got a family.
Yeah, and they definitely up it for like we gotta
Yeah.
root for this guy kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just to help us root for him. Yeah.
Man, the song, it was
I
just
just-
so.
Yeah, and she also kind of voices a lot of eternal thoughts he's having of like,
Right.
I'm worried, I'm not figuring this out. And she's like, are you worried? Are you worried about not having a job? And he's like, I'm gonna be fucking fine.
That's true.
Get on your plane before it crashes.
That's like
Right.
it's like those things crash all the time.
Yeah, that was so funny.
It's really good.
He's like, planes crash all the time.
Anyways, I love you.
I mean, it all works because we get that one sweet scene of Spike Jonze in his little sandals.
I couldn't believe it when Spike Jones showed up.
So good.
Yeah, it was great.
He's great.
He's
And you know who also showed up? The fucking announcer kid from The Sandlot is the Red Sox, the guy at the very end that wants to hire him.
Arliss Howard?
Yeah, he's the
Oh,
Sandlot announcer
way, really?
kid.
That's No, I
Yes.
did not know that either.
Yes,
That's
I looked it up to make sure.
Yeah, I
was
don't know.
like, holy shit.
Because he's also like the guy that shows up at the end of David Fincher's The Killer.
Yes.
I was kind of like, oh yeah, Howard is the guy you stick in the one scene at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
and he plays like a douchebag.
Keeps it going.
He's a douchebag millionaire in both of those movies. Kind of works actually. Yeah, that's crazy. I did not realize that. He's really good, honestly. That scene is great with the whole like, what do you get her for her birthday? He's like, a
And
scarf?
does his
Like
assistant
Yeah.
Like a woolly scarf?
does his
No,
assistant
like
have the
wool?
same name as Bean's assistant? Are they
Oh.
both named Denise?
Is that?
I was like, I can't.
Oh no,
believe that can't
every
be
every
true.
assistant is named Denise.
That's true.
When you
Oh,
become
I
an
see.
assistant, yeah, it
Oh,
doesn't
I
matter
see.
what your
It's
you
sort
know,
of like being
your gender is.
007
Yeah.
James Bond.
Yeah.
You just become James
Exactly.
Bond.
Yeah.
Very
Become
humanizing.
Denise.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to think about it.
It's not at all a weird misogynist thing.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the movie. I mean, Pitt is incredible.
Denise, get Shapiro on the phone.
Shapiro. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
Shapiro.
I was like,
Is it
Shapiro?
Shapiro?
I thought it was
Shapiro?
Shapiro too.
Shapiro.
Yeah.
But
I think
he
even
calls him Shapiro to
In
his
the
face.
audiobook,
Yeah.
in the audiobook they say Shapiro.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think.
I'm wondering if that's just how Bean says it, or
And that's
Maybe.
they
It's like,
decided.
it's like a thing about it's like a verisimilitude thing with
Yeah.
Like,
how Bean actually mispronounced
these-
that person's name.
Yeah.
Weird things. Yeah.
Well, it could be like a Nightbreed Baphomet situation,
yeah.
where it's like no one would
classic
say
Nightbreed.
no one would say
Yeah.
no one would say Baphomet,
Moneyball.
but you know what?
Now I will.
In this film, Baphomet.
Yep.
Baphomet. Yeah, it's that's. I mean, the Arliss hat. I did not realize the Sandlot connection.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's fantastic. Yeah, again, also like a lot of the actual like baseball scenes are again like really artfully done, where it's like this weird, almost like silhouette-y.
Yeah, because it's
lighting.
not really the focus of the movie.
Yeah,
it's Billy Bean's story for sure,
And like
which I kind of really dug. Yeah.
it's really cool. I mean, like him giving him the it's a sort of baseball movie you would like never see, where it's like it's all the backroom
Yeah.
trading stuff is
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're not ever getting that really. Again, because how do you make it interesting?
One detail that I thought was odd, because obviously they're trying to get the subplot with Chris Pratt going, so that way when Hatterberg hits the 12th, run so they win the 20 game streak, there's something there. Is that in the book they talk about how he's chatty and has always been chatty. Like as a catcher he was chatty, and then as a first baseman he's like, welcome to my office, let's chat while you're here on first base. Like there's a thing where like, is it Billy like in the movie is like, loosen up, like when they come to you, like talk to them, and I'm like, I think dude already was doing that.
And also, like, Chris Pratt so naturally belongs in the role as the guy who's too chatty for his own good.
Yes.
And so it's weird. Yeah, it's weird that they had to like include that. Like,
They
not just,
Jonah
like,
Hilled him, man. They held him back.
That's I guess.
It is.
They Jonah Hilled.
Yeah.
They held
Is
him.
that what
They're
it
like,
means
yeah,
to Jonah
we
Hill
know you're a
someone?
funny guy, but you gotta stop all that shit right now.
It is amazing that like they blow an 11-run lead in real life and have to come back, and the guy who was part of the experiment hits the home run that wins the game that they win. It's like you would be like, that's some movie bullshit. And it's like, no, you just go back and look at the box score and you're like, no, that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find like a more
perfect
like,
capper.
thematically appropriate.
This is so resonant. You're gonna love it.
And yet everyone's still like, they got lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
It's like, okay, I don't think so, but okay.
I watched the movie with my girlfriend. I mean, I'd seen it, when it came out, but I recently watched the movie with my girlfriend, who is the kind of sports fan. She loves sports, but she's the person who, like, in a blowout lead, will be, like, clutching a pillow, being like, they're gonna blow it. I know they're gonna blow it, and I can't be in the room when it happens. And I'm like, Steph, they're up by 11 runs. What do you want? And so she's, like, watching her worst nightmare in real time of this, like, incredible lead being blown. And I'm, like, not telling her that they actually win.
That's good.
A sadistic monster.
She's got to learn. She's got to see what happens.
Yeah.
Just let the movie reveal itself.
God, great scene. I did really love all of the scenes they did where it's like the lighting is like super hard, and it's very like silhouetted and like solo of like any of the pitches or the hits. Like that stylistic choice was like amazing. I think it's like part of what makes the movie for me.
Even down to him just in the car, like riding in
Yeah.
almost complete darkness.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
like with his thoughts.
Yeah.
That was great.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah.
And like even like again when the Twins win, it's like again you're only seeing the Twins players, you're not seeing a crowd, which is also probably like in their own way was a cost-effective maneuver of like we don't have to CGI in or bring in fans,
Right, yeah.
Like we'll just like black box theater this,
Yeah.
And then like that last shot when they just go to the dugout and everyone leaves and it's like the lights all go out and it's like oh man, this is really just really well done. Ben Miller, great director,
Yeah, great.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Do we have any final thoughts before we do our last roundup of scores and whatnot? Before we do our box score.
Any last minute? Do we want to just what we need to do
Let's see.
anything, Michael? That we
Let me
need
look at my notes.
as the baseball.
Michael is unrolling a very long scroll.
My last note I had is Billy very emotional. So take that which you will.
Oh man, there's some amazing desk flipping.
Yeah, they got that exactly right.
Yeah.
Of like the character of Bill. I mean, I thought that. I mean, again, it's Brad Pitt. It's the directing, it's everything.
Yeah.
Of like how they took this guy who was like kind of an insane person, and then they were like, okay, Brad, just do what feels natural, and he flips a very heavy desk like all the way over.
He's dry shaving, as we've talked. He's
literally
dry
shaving.
shaving, and they're like, he's not in the lineup. Boom! The desk goes over.
Another great freak out moment is when they're cheering after they lose the game, and he's just like, "This is what losing sounds like." Throws a thing.
The bat. And
Awkward silence. It sounds like this. Throws the thing.
The Foley on that is incredible. It's got like the.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Sound. It goes for so long. It's amazing. Yeah. You have anything else, Michael?
I think that's all I got.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so first round. Did we like the book? Tyler.
Loved it. It's great. It's got a lot of good stories and interesting stuff.
Loved it. Yeah, super consequential in a way you could argue is bad.
Yeah.
But it's like so interesting. It's one of the most interesting like books about sports, maybe like at all.
Yeah, it's a perfect marriage of story and author. I mean, like in terms of what and
yeah. I enjoyed the book. I didn't love it. I enjoyed the first half a lot more than the second half.
Listen, that appraisal from someone who would never have gone within 15 feet of this book.
I know. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. I was like, oh, hey, I'm kind of enjoying some of these vignettes. These are pretty good.
Well, I think as you had texted me about it, and you were like, oh, I'm enjoying these parts of it. And it's like, because really, and I think you'll agree with this, Michael and Justin, is like sports are just like a narrative delivery system.
Yeah,
like,
right.
In life, in both in life and in like art, it is just.
Oh yeah, that's why I love those Olympics movies. Yeah, just tell me,
this person fought real hard to
tell me about the overcoming whatever, so that way, yeah.
Which it's like when I hadn't read Moneyball the book before I got hired to be on this podcast.
That's right.
Got roped into doing this.
That's more accurate.
But
Don't say hired, because then people will think we pay.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we do not have any.
I mean, you'll get residuals.
Wait, you guys don't
in that,
pay? Okay, I gotta go.
You'll get residuals in that we make no money, and then you get a portion of that number.
Yeah, I get a portion of that zero. No, but I hadn't read Moneyball, but I had this concept of like this book that was like all about stats, and I was like, I don't really want to read a book that's just stats, because like one time I was trying to get into chess, and I went to a used bookstore, and they had a chess section, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll pick up a book about chess. I opened up a few of the books. They were literally just numbers and diagrams.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what this was. I thought it was like just like a bunch of like statistical, facts that
like the shit on Jonah Hill's computer, but like on paper.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like I thought it was. So the fact that it was like one, extremely readable, and two, like just like so interesting of like what like they extrapolate all of the math to mean.
Yeah.
And then its consequences throughout this season, and then extrapolated beyond to their present day.
Absolutely. Well, like even again in the draft scene, it's fascinating because like they're doing that scene and like they're pumped, they're so psyched that they're getting all the players they want, but like they don't have any retrospect. So it's like, oh, only one of those guys becomes a player. Like only Nick Swisher is a guy who has like a long-term career, and it just kind of it was interesting to reading it from this distance and being like, oh wow, like that's crazy. Like it is still so much of a crapshoot. Like even if you get all 6 of the guys you want who hit all these boxes, statistically in the new way that you are trying to do it, only one of them could work out.
There's still an amount of luck. That's what they keep saying.
I mean that is something that like I thought so often while like comparing the movie to the book is like. It's like if you make the movie or if you make the story, regardless of the format, like this is how Billy Bean makes sure there's no Billy Bean ever again.
Yeah.
He like didn't do that.
Right, exactly.
He straight up just didn't do that.
It's impossible to like actually ensure that.
Well, also I was going to say like I wound up doing a Wikipedia lookup on Jeremy Brown because they talk about him so much about how he's this underrated guy, and even in both the book and the movie, he gets the final grace note, which is this moment where he's in is it a AAA game or something like that?
Yeah, he's in the minors. Yeah,
where basically like he hits the ball and he's like judging it, and he's like, oh, I think I made a double or a triple, so he rounds first, completely wipes out, and he's like, oh fuck, goes back to first. And then everyone's like laughing at him, and he's like, God, God fucking damn it, why did I try to fly so high to the sun? But they're laughing at him because the ball made it to the stands. He hit a home run. He can keep running.
Right.
It's a
And
metaphor.
that's a glorious it's a glorious grace note. And I looked it up and it's like the guy played for 1 month in the majors and then has become like a high school teacher.
I also looked him up on Baseball Reference today, and he has like a negative career WAR because he did not do anything, and anyways. But yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's but
isn't it nice to dream?
His lasting legacy will be that video of him tripping on first base.
Oh my God,
which is kind of painful.
It's so painful to watch.
Yeah,
like hearing about it happen, I was like, man, like I'm not gonna clap because it's a recording. But like, bravo, that's so cool.
They put the pin on it perfectly.
Yeah, and then when they show it in the movie, I'm like, oh fuck, dude,
this is brutal.
This is rough to watch.
Really,
he like tumbles three times.
Yeah. And is like crawling back
he's
with
like
all of his whole life flashing before his eyes. Yeah.
As everyone laughs.
Yeah, everyone like screaming, laughing at him, including famous baseball player Nick Swisher.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Who's gone on to have a great career.
Yeah. Right.
Anyhow, I like the book. Next round, movie thought.
Sorry, just
that's what we do here. The movie is fantastic. I love it. Can't recommend it enough.
Weirdly, I think the book kind of ruined the movie for me a little bit. I still love it, but I think it's like down a peg from where it was when I had just seen the movie because of like all the stuff that I now know about because of the book. That it's like hard to just appreciate the like punched up like pure narrative of the movie. But I still love it.
That's a fairly common thing that happens on this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like we ruin books. We ruin movies for people by making them read the book.
I think kind of Killers of the Flower Moon is that. Like I haven't done my second watch, but I'm like I need distance from the book because watching the movie after reading the book, I'm like, oh, there's so many things that are not. No.
Just slightly changed enough to be like ping in your head and be like, that's annoying, but whatever. Right. But I would recommend also reading the book and then watching the movie because all those names, and similar to this, where it's like it was nice to be like, oh, that name and this name, and like it helps you have it fresh.
It helps my dumbass quite a bit.
Yeah.
Or you could do what I did, which is read the book and then watch the movie with your girlfriend and then pause it 5 times every in-movie 5 minutes to be like, oh, actually, Chad Bradford's arm is like that because his dad had a stroke and nobody thought he was going to be able to walk. But then
she's like, cool, man, cool. Can I unpause it now or what?
She's like, awesome.
It seems like we had
I don't have to watch this with you.
It's like, do you want to be alone, actually?
We had very similar viewing experiences, I think. Very, very similar.
Almost as bad as watching Lord of the Rings with me.
Oh, man.
You know that Viggo Mortensen actually broke his foot?
Oh, when he kicked the thing, yeah. Except for me, it was like, oh, that radio guy's voice is Bob Costas. He's a big baseball guy. You should know him. Anyways, it's fine. We'll keep going.
Allan.
I mean, how could I possibly follow that up? I like the movie quite a bit. I sort of really love the weird, how it's like the flip side of how these movies go, where it's like, it's usually someone with the intuition to like it is that, but it's usually against the number crunchers, and this is the intuition to use number crunching, which is like a weird twist on it in general. It's kind of a fascinating story to see realized as like a more pure narrative, whether or not it's actually that accurate. So I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, it's David Zaslav's favorite movie, I believe. Just kidding. He's a bean counter. He's enemy of art. Anyhow, I think my view is sort of like yours, Michael, in that I saw the movie when it came out, loved it, and now I still like it very much, but I think because of reading the book and knowing a little bit more, I'm like, okay. Yeah. I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But I would still give it a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The big final thing. Tyler, which is better? Book, movie, which is better?
I mean, look, the book doesn't have Brad Pitt in it.
Sure doesn't.
Ooh, wow.
Sure doesn't.
The book can have Brad Pitt. I mean, the thing about books is that
I don't remember seeing his name at all.
They don't have the moment where he like closes his eyes extra hard before he talks to the scout and then starts talking to him, and I was like cackling on my couch because I was like, that's so good. That's such a good acting thing he did where he like closed his eyes and be like, oh, and then he like starts talking to him. So Just by the narrowest margins, I guess I'll go with the movie because it's a very satisfying movie experience. It feels like a Herculean task to make this thing interesting, and they do it as a movie, like where it's a satisfying
I am evidence
narrative
of that being true.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the same for the book. The fact that he made this subject matter interesting is also, and like to a lay person, to a person who even doesn't like baseball at all.
Also,
Actually, I don't mind baseball. I just don't.
You just don't like the traffic when you drive home during a Dodger game.
Which, the spring training already, I had to fight on the way here.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'll be fighting on the way back, probably just in time. Can't wait.
Also, whoever decided to call it Moneyball instead of Sabermetrics.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Very good call.
Sort of a better, yeah.
Although, if you did sabermetrics, they could put like cool sword on the cover.
Through a baseball.
Sick.
Yeah. Cool.
That'd be good.
Yeah, Pittsburgh Pirates, call me.
Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for your merch. I got new merch ideas. So I'll give and also since Michael Lewis is kind of the bad guy, I'm gonna give the credit to the movie. I'm gonna say movie's better.
All right, Michael Chin.
It's kind of hard. They're pretty even in my head. I guess I'll give the edge to the movie again because of what Tyler just said.
Yep.
Honestly, about how Michael Lewis is not a great dude.
And if the other two people on this podcast are good people, they'll do the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Just kidding. No,
Sort of makes me want to do the opposite.
Good.
It's like so. I mean, if honestly, if I could give a non-answer, I would say neither. The cool thing that I would like to read or watch is how like this current state of baseball gets exploded in sometime in the future by Moneyball 2.
Yeah.
By non-Moneyball.
Well, because here's something too, Michael, and we'll quickly before we'll get to your stuff. We should also just say
Before we get to your lesser opinions.
The other two people on this podcast, whatever they're gonna say, I don't
Tyler
really.
and I leave the room to let you finish the podcast.
Yeah. Like, this is the thing, too, about the whole idea that the A's, like, oh, they're a small market team. They can't afford to pay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That is horseshit
It's horseshit.
to the nth degree.
Yeah.
They are cheap fucking losers. This owner in his fucking little quarter zip sweater is an asshole who has the money to spend. Every team has the money to spend. There is revenue sharing. There is profit sharing. They have TV deals. Any team that claims they don't have the money
There's simply no money, Tyler.
They're lying to you.
No money.
They're lying to you. It's horseshit, and they should be ashamed of themselves for putting such a bullshit product on the field. Because who do we root for? Do we root for the fucking owner? No, you root for the players on the field, and they deserve their fucking money because they're bringing in money to you. And this is all horseshit. It's all such a roundabout bullshit thing. Anyways,
I wish that was true. There's just simply no money, Tyler.
There's no
I'm
money.
Sorry.
He can't afford $200,000.
No, I can't
even
do
though
it.
he's
I'm
a
sorry.
millionaire. It's not that profitable of a business, actually.
Yeah.
And then to talk about the current fucking owners of the A's who bought the team from this other cheap asshole who have done nothing but try to tank the team so no one comes to like, there's no interest in baseball in Oakland. We got to move the team to somewhere else.
Yeah, to Las Vegas, where they love baseball.
Everybody,
I guess.
hey, well,
they love it enough to go to an outdoor sport event in the middle of summer
in 115 degree heat and die
but
of
it's a
heat
dry
stroke
heat.
to watch a team that just
It
showed up.
Hey, actually,
It's a dry
to Allan's
heat.
point,
Come
it is a
on.
dry
I
heat.
can confirm as someone
It
from
will
Las Vegas.
dehydrate you. You must drink.
Yeah, that's
and that water's going to
all-
be $30.
Look, you're going to need to stay
No,
hydrated.
water bottle.
You need beers. You need hot dogs.
Yeah.
Sodium-rich pretzels.
Yes.
These are the things that will hydrate you to stay.
Salt and alcohol.
Alcohol are
Yes.
and you will buy a lot of them, and it'll cost you $100 extra.
Yeah, and then the $5,000 to $7,000 of the ambulance that's
To
gonna have
take you to the
come get
hospital as you recover from
You
your
just, but
stroke.
there is literally always one or two ambulances going up the street
absolutely.
for a Dodger
Yeah.
game. It's
Yeah.
maddening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean those are people who are
Not
either
the docks where I live, but yeah.
drunk or on.
Yeah, Allan lives in Dodger Stadium.
Not the docks.
And they have
In
yet to
Scully.
find
He's
me.
like, my commute traffic is crazy as he's like hopping the fence into Dodger Stadium.
He's like, I just wake up every morning, grab a dog, grab a pretzel, and
Yeah, exactly. Vin Scully Road. 222 Vin Scully Road or whatever it's called.
Shockingly close.
Yeah.
I don't care. Come for me. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, anyways,
okay.
now that that's out of the way, Allan, what'd you like better?
The movie, absolutely. It took all the things I really kind of enjoyed from the book and just kind of laser focused in on it. It did miss some of the vignettes from the book that I would have liked to have seen. But I just like a movie where it's just professionals being professional, and that's kind of what this is. And he has that like extra element of like I can see things that no one else does, and I got this nerd that's telling me that I'm right. I loved it, I ate it up. So I like the movie way better.
Nice. And you know what? I want to make that shit unanimous.
And also Michael Lewis is bad guy. Yeah. Sorry. So I'm.
Michael Lewis is my father. No.
Shit! I feel like we should have known this. Oh no! It makes sense.
Yeah, my middle name is Remer. That's why I.
Wow.
Well, you don't want to
anyhow.
be accused of Michael Lewis nepotism.
Exactly.
How else would you have gotten a job at a bookstore?
Yes, exactly.
And the last 2 minutes of this podcast are the sounds of the rest of us getting stabbed.
That's the sound of getting stabbed.
No, I agree that I was really pleasantly surprised by the quality of reading the book. I'm very disappointed in what you've just told me about Michael Lewis as a person. So I'm more than happy to vote for the movie. Which again, as I said, like it because of reading the book, it came down a little in my estimation, but like still, like out of 5 stars, I give it like 4 stars. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, also it was my first time watching it. And it seems like you all enjoyed it that first time you saw it a lot more. So maybe there's that recency kind of bias.
Oh, there's not a time when I haven't enjoyed this baby.
Well, I know.
This
like
thing's
balls.
if it's on TV, I'm watching it, baby.
You look at Philip Seymour Hoffman's grumpy face and just like.
Honestly, for like a nothing part, he's doing so much.
Dude,
it's incredible.
Seriously.
He's like standing there fucking stirring his coffee. It's just like, I'll get an hour of that.
And he's like, put this guy, and he's like, I'm not going to.
He's like,
oh, shit. Bro, I think that guy wants to fight you.
Again,
I would never be able to say that to Brad Pitt.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
An incredible, again, like a great job of using stuff from the book. Like there's the moment in the book where he's like, I have to be able to manage this team in a way that I can explain in interviews in the winter.
Which is a great moment.
They just put that in his mouth on the bench, and you're like, that's awesome. What a great job of like adaptation in that way.
Yeah.
Also the moment where Brad Pitt is like fierily walking. Well, first of all, 2 moments where he's walking. One where he does a little dance as he leaves Art House office as he walks
I kind
out.
of wanted to see his reaction. I thought they were going to cut to it, but they didn't.
Would have been so good.
Because you know it would have been pained.
Incredible. And then the moment where Brad Pitt is like walking through the hallway so intensely and Art Howe has to like get out of his way or get run over.
Yeah.
And you just see him turn around and be like, Jesus Christ, he's walking fast. Like it's incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. So, yeah.
So that's actually 2 in a row. PSH MVP.
Yeah, no kidding. He's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Too
go,
soon, man.
go back and check out
Pumpkin
our
Spice
Talented
Hoffman.
Mr. Ripley episode. Anyhow,
Spice Hoffman.
Yeah, he's just sorry because
No,
that
no.
is 2 months in a row, but could not be more different from his Mr. Talented Mr. Where he is going 1,000 miles an hour in a fucking Corvette. How's the peeping, Tommy? And then this one is like, I'm not going to do that. Insane. The range of that man.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
love you, miss you, PSH. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in again to Better Than the Movie. Hope you had a delightful time, whether you like sports or not. Next month, we have got Sir Gawain, and The Green Knight, and the movie The Green Knight. We're going to be doing the Tolkien translation of it. If you want to read along before we get to it, hope you come back. Hope you have a lovely spring, whether you're training or not. We'll see you next time. We won't. It's fucking podcast. We'll hear you next time. No, we won't. You'll hear us. All right.
That's right.
All right. Oh, worst sign off ever. Fuck.
And the thing about these cheap owners is body. 20 straight minutes.
No, hitting with power doesn't
Hitting
matter.
with
It's all
power.
about on base percentage.
He gets on base.
He gets on base, and that's what matters.
Did you want me to talk?
OPS.
When I point to you, yes. OPS plus. War wins above replacement. You have to divide winning.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Skylight Books podcast series. We hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to check out the book featured in this episode, or others, please visit skylightbooks.com. If you're in the Los Angeles area, stop by for one of our live in-person author events. You can find a calendar on our website. If you like this podcast, leave us a review. It really helps us out. Our music is by Duck the Piano Wire. Till next time.